Yeah, let's get into the challenge.
Yeah, let's get into the challenge.
Great segue. So what was your challenge?
So my challenge was to cut down weight. I was going to do weight loss. Basically, it's using the Harris Benedict calculator. You punch in your age, weight, height, and it spits out a number of calories that you can consume in a day. Anything beyond that, you're gaining weight. Anything below that, you're losing weight. And so I used that to lose weight over the course of, at this point, it's been a little over 40 days.
Right.
It's almost 50 days, I think, at this point.
Yeah, very cool. Now, did you see any progress on the scale?
I did.
You did?
I did,
Super
yes.
cool. I was going to say I didn't know if it was just my brain, but I looked at you. You look trimmer.
Oh,
than
good.
the last time I saw you.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, let's hear about the numbers.
Sure. So, and I will say, I will admit that when you're losing weight, numbers aren't going to be everything.
Exactly.
You know, your waist size is supposed to be one of the bigger things that you should be keeping an eye on, but it feels good to see the numbers on the scale go down. Maybe it's the gamer brain in me that's like, oh, number go down, feel good, you know? But you know, I started the diet at 240 pounds.
Okay.
And I in the last episode I was on, I had mentioned that my weight has kind of jumped around and fluctuated over the years. I had been as high as 280 pounds. I got as low as 160. 160 might not be something I can maintain easy enough, though my goal is to kind of get back down into that range because I bought a bunch of clothes that I want to wear again, and I don't want to have to spend the money on new clothes. Anyway, but so I did a weigh-in every 2 weeks, roughly.
Okay.
The first weigh-in, I had lost 5 pounds. Now, losing weight off the bat with this diet have found it happens. Like anytime I start a diet, those first few pounds fly off. And I think it's a lot of water weight or whatever, you know, kind of thing. So, you know, you can't be too excited about it. But here's the thing. I was too excited about it because 2 weeks after that, I had only lost 1 additional pound.
Okay.
And I think what it was is I was cutting calories too much. So the goal with the diet, once I get this number from this Harris Benedict calculation, the goal is to hit the point where I'm still have 500 calories before I would cap out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going almost 1,000.
Okay.
And in my head, I was like, well, I'm going to lose weight faster. Even though I knew that starvation mode was a thing. I think I mentioned it in the last episode where I was like, well, you can't cut too many calories. But in my head, I was like, oh, I want to see the number go down even more.
Yeah.
Because I'm an idiot. And so I had only lost 1 pound. But I will say, I also, the day before my first weigh-in, had gone to, have you ever heard of, we live in the Detroit area, Schwitz in Detroit.
Never been to Schwitz.
Schwitz is a, like, spa sauna.
Oh.
And so...
that's a Jewish term I've heard used. I'm schwitzing, like I'm sweating.
Yeah. Yep, it is at least... I don't know if it's still Jewish owned, but certainly when it was first opened in Detroit, it was, you know, Jewish owned. But so, yeah, it's this, like, you know, Jewish bathhouse, basically, in Detroit. Mm-hmm. And we, a friend for Christmas had gotten us all gift cards and was like, hey, we need to go. And so when we went, it was wonderful. It was kind of awkward because it was mixed gender hours when we went, because it was a group of us that were men and women. And so the other flip side too, which is just a little side note, it's not easy for me because I'm blind without my glasses. And so I can't wear them in the sauna. And so I'm like I would walk into a sauna and I would sit down and my friends in the room would be like, Craig, why aren't you sitting by us? And I'd be like, I didn't know where you were.
Yeah. Better than sitting on them.
I don't want to talk about it. So anyway, I had sweat out, you know, sweat out like crazy at this, bathhouse
Yeah.
the day before I did a weigh-in.
Hell yeah.
And then I hit 5 pounds and I was like, this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
And then I lost only 1 pound. And so I don't know if maybe I had actually only lost like 3 or 4 pounds and it just sort of bounced back a bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the science there.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to weigh-ins, I was going to talk about that. Like, it's a rookie move to do. I mean, when it comes to like weighing yourself, I feel like if you weigh yourself before you take a shit, rookie move. You got to do it after. Also,
Yes.
if you weigh yourself like later in the day, rookie move. You got to do it like early in the day before you have any food. So find that sweet spot. But yeah, or sweating. I do sauna like pretty much every day. So I don't carry around too much water weight, but I would imagine that if you haven't been in a sauna a while and like sweat a ton, it would have a pretty tremendous impact on the weigh-in.
Yeah, I think so. And like you said, that is a great point because when I do the weigh-ins, I do my best to, pee, hopefully poop.
Yeah.
Not always, but generally. So like I weighed in this morning as well. Technically I was supposed to weigh in the previous Sunday because I do it every other Sunday, but I was like,
drum roll.
yeah, so I lost 5 pounds initially. The second one weigh-in was 1 pound. And so I was like, oh, please be more than 1 pound. The weigh-in today, I've lost a total of 9 pounds.
Hey!
So I lost a few more pounds since the previous weigh-in, which
9
feels
pounds.
good.
And
9 pounds altogether so far.
That's incredible, man. That's so cool. You put your mind to it. You did it. You stuck with it. We texted throughout the thing. Some cravings came up.
Oh, yeah.
Because I experienced something similar, but that day you were texting me, I think it was a week or two ago, I was like checking in. I was like, how you doing? You're like, I want a fucking pizza. Now, so a couple questions. Did you end up indulging in some pizza or what specifically when that moment came where you had this like super strong craving for pizza, how did you mitigate it? And like, how did you like move through it?
So that's a great question. I would say mostly guilt. Because I knew that I would feel miserable afterwards. Because I had said I'm gonna not have any cheat days. I had 0 cheat days, which isn't to say I didn't eat a few like carry out meals from time to time. But I budgeted the calories for them. So what I would do is earlier in the day, I wouldn't have as large of a breakfast or large of a lunch. And then dinner time, I would have more calories to play with. And so I had Chinese food like a couple of times throughout the time. I got like it's not going to sound like it's cheating, but it's a Greek salad from the pizza place by me. But like the dressing is like 1,000,000 calories,
Like a tablespoon is 100 to 200 per tablespoon of dressing. And like, who's using 1 tablespoon of dressing?
Nobody.
I know. It's
Nobody.
yeah.
Anyone who uses 1 tablespoon of dressing has no soul.
You have no soul. You're not fun. I
No.
don't want to know who you are
Yeah.
as a person.
Get out of my life.
Get out.
Get out of my life.
immediately. Yeah. So I'm glad you got through it. Guilt is a good way. Guilt is a funny way to do it. While you were doing yours, I was kind of doing my own thing.
Okay.
Had never tried. I usually don't restrict very much.
Yeah.
Other than logging my calories, I usually don't restrict like what I eat. But I was curious how I would feel if I ate meat and fruit only for the 40 days.
Okay.
I've heard about it. I've heard people do it and feel fantastic. So I was very curious. So I did it, and the episode that came out last week was with my wife Emily. I did a deep dive, so I don't need to do a whole deep dive, but I will share what has happened twice since I've lightly introduced some grains, like some oats, some rice, some sweet potato, some things like that. First incident, we were at my mom's and we were celebrating, we were just like getting together. My mom, they had like old Valentine's Day cards they wanted to give the kids. So we got together there and there were snacks out. And I like all of the discipline that I had in the 40 days, I just had the thought like, that looks like it would taste good. There were Frito scoops, Tostitos, these little like flatbreads, like garlicky kind of flatbreads.
Ooh.
And then there were like several dips. There was a salsa, there was a big hummus, and then there was a big spinach and artichoke dip. And the discipline that I had, like when I'm locked in, I look at that and I don't even give it a second thought. I just go past it, whatever. Don't even think about it. But I had this like intrusive thought that just like, have one. And I fucking like blacked out. My whole family's in the other room. And I'm just like, I'm doing the thing where I have like one hand with the chip dipped, ready to go. And the other hand is in my mouth with like the food that I'm feeding it. And I'm just going, nom, 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 nom. And I probably threw down at least 1,500 to 2,000 calories of just snacks in the matter of like 10 minutes.
That sounds so good.
It like in the moment, it's like, this tastes so good. Mouth pleasure. I forgot what this is like. But then it's the after. It's playing the tape through. It's like,
yep.
I wish I had done that. And then 2 days later, it's just me and the kid. We're hanging out. We finished dinner, whatever. We're actually, I think, going downstairs to like watch a movie or play a video game. You could see it from here. I had all of his Halloween candy stashed in there. No. And Halloween was so long ago. And I don't even, like I said, it's a thing where when I'm dialed in, I don't even give it a second thought. It's just there. But for whatever reason, I'm like, a Kit Kat bar out of that Halloween bag sounds good.
Yeah.
And
right.
again, he was downstairs and it's just like, several Kit Kat bars, several Reese's, several Hershey's bars, I'm just like throwing it in my mouth, just like, what happened to the guy that had like some discipline? Like it just disappeared. So like two of those. And then the next day I'm like, fuck. So I'm not going back to the meat and fruit strictly, although usually breakfast and lunch, it's just that because I feel so fucking good in my brain. My anxiety is just totally gone when I don't. Yeah, it's incredible. So I do it more so for the mental benefits. And then with dinner, I'll usually do, my main portion of protein, whatever, meat, fish, chicken, whatever. And then I'll do some kind of like rice or sweet potato, whatever, and like limit everything that way. But yeah, I just thought those were wild. It's just like, I'm the same person. Yeah. But I looked at these snacks totally 180 degrees separately in two different things. It just, I thought that was worth sharing since we were talking about like nutrition and diet and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's mostly guilt is the reason why I make it through a diet, because I know that I'm going to feel awful after the fact. And so I'll and don't be wrong. Like I like, it's not to say I'm not eating enjoyable things, like in the morning I've been doing low sugar instant oats just because I don't want to sit there and make oatmeal in the morning. And the overnight oats are healthier. And they're not bad, but like, I don't know, in the dead of winter, I just feel miserable eating cold oats out of the fridge. Yeah. And so like, okay, low sugar, that's not too bad. I scoop in peanut butter. I'll throw in a banana.